Hello everyone, my name is Christian. Welcome back to my hobby blog. Today I'm going to be talking about episode 4 of The Boys season 4. I don't have the episode title, but it was quite the interesting one. I really enjoyed it. I think it's my favorite episode of the season so far. We're finally seeing a lot of movement with the plot and where everything is going. We're already getting a lot of shakeups. We're getting a lot of story moments that I wasn't expecting. And if you don't know already, this will be full spoilers up to this episode. I will be discussing it all the way to the end of the episode. So if you don't want spoilers, then go watch the episode and then come back and watch. But right now, what's going on in the show is that we're getting a lot of Starlight versus Firecracker, who is the new supervillain, I guess. And she is such a ridiculous character that I actually really like her. I think she is really insane and very well written as well, because the way that she plays the performance is very subtle, and I love the writing as well, where you do kind of get hit over the head with what's going on now in our own world. But I think with the way that they're doing the Firecracker story, I think it's getting to be really interesting where the show is headed. And also, the character of Sister Sage is getting really interesting. I really like the moment where she and the Deep were doing a lobotomy. I thought that was a really funny scene. Where she is telling him to scrape her brain because her body regenerates when it's damaged. So when she's getting lobotomized, her brain eventually comes back, but it takes a long time for it to do so. So she and the Deep decide to have some fun after they do that, and we sort of cut away from all of that. And we get a whole lot of Homelander this episode as well, where we learn a lot more about his upbringing in the Research and Development Center, where he was being raised by many different scientists and psychologists and anybody who sort of had had the opportunity to benefit very greatly, despite the fact that they were running experiments on Homelander as a child. And it is amazing, sort of the dialogue and scenes that we get between Homelander and all the different scientists, because we don't really ever explore him when he was young. We get a lot of dialogue of the scientists being like, oh, I'm sorry, but they're not really sorry, because, this is one of the biggest successes in their lives, is being able to create a superhero, one that is Homelander. And it is just really fun for me, because Homelander is not a good guy. He is not a protagonist. He's none of that. But we're getting these really great moments where these evils that were put upon him, that have enabled him to continue the cycle of abuse, we're finally getting answers to that, and he's finally getting sort of some payback with how much torment and suffering and torture that he went through. So I'm really enjoying the Homelander storyline this season, a lot more than season 3. I thought season 2 was the best season, as I said in the last episode. But another thing that's really cool this episode is that we're getting a lot more Hughie and his storyline, especially with how it pertains to his father, who is played by Simon Pegg. I'm enjoying his character. I wish he could be in the show more, but I recognize that he's a very high-profile actor who probably has higher priorities to do than this show that he is helping produce. But we get a really interesting scene where Hughie and A-Train, who has been sort of feeding him Compound B on the download, he wants to give Compound B to his father. And A-Train is like, you don't want to do that, but he's also like, well, if this gets you off my back, then I'll give it to you. And it ends up that Huey did not give him any Compound V, but at the end of the episode, he wakes back up. His father does. So somebody gave him Compound V. I have a feeling that it was A-Train. Maybe it was Butcher. Those are my two most likely candidates right now, because I think they both have a lot of stake for Huey. So I'm very interested to see where that storyline, goes. But everything going on with Annie or Starlight, that storyline is insane. And this is where the beef of the episode is in, is this conflict going on between Starlight and Firecracker, who they have some history together since they were young. I guess around 12 years old is the timeline of the history. But it's really interesting because we hear some background in regards to Starlight having done something that she regretted when she was young. But it's this episode that we finally learn that Firecracker leaks out that Starlight accidentally killed somebody. And Vought basically went behind everybody's back and changed the story to make it look like Starlight was trying to save them but did not kill them. And that sort of causes a huge to-do in the news cycle of The Boys. And everyone is just in really high emotions right now. There's a lot of hatred and just spite and just toxicity going on. Starlight is obviously the one who is better off than Firecracker, but Firecracker has a lot of good reason for what she's doing, although what she's saying is absolutely false and shitty and fucked up, and I don't like that part of her, even though there's a side of me that says, yeah, it's understandable that she would try to do this to Annie because she was very rudely ridiculed, but I don't think it balances out really at all with what she's doing to Starlight. I think it's pretty awful, actually. The more I talk about it, the more I don't encourage that. So, but again, this is a really interesting character who we're not at the end of the season. We're halfway done, so I don't know where that's going to go. I really like the character of A-Train. I think this is his season. I don't know where he will go after this season. I have a feeling that he and Butcher will die at the end of the season. Every season we've had some pretty big deaths, but we haven't had any big deaths with the main crew. And A-Train has been there since the first episode. I don't think they're going to kill Homelander yet. If they do, that would be pretty ballsy, but we'll have to see. But I don't know how long this review has been going on, but I don't really have any other thoughts to give right now. I'm really enjoying the show. The first 3 episodes went as, I guess, it didn't hook me as much as I thought it would, but this episode brought me back in. So I'm fully enjoying this season. I can't wait to see what else we have, and aside from that, that's all I have. Thank you all so much for watching, and please have a great rest of the night.